you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, holographist coach, Christine McIver.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Inspired Choices radio show and live TV. I am your host, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network with my show, Inspired Choices. I'm so thrilled that you're here with us tonight. We are going to have a fabulous show. And if you are listening and you would like to join us, you can come over to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, join us in the chat room, and we will actually give you a link and you can come watch us in the video. We are now doing not just radio, not just podcasts, but now we are doing TV. Woohoo! I'll tell you, I love joining into more play and more expansion and more possibilities. It is so much fun. So tonight, the show is business by default or desire. Which is it for you? Last time we were together, well, several weeks in a row now, we have been talking about lots of things in business. And, you know, even though we're talking a lot about business, a lot of what I do talk about can apply to anything in your life. And I really want to invite you to lean in and ask some questions as I'm talking about these different subjects. And I would love to have your questions in the chat room. You can absolutely put any questions in there. And if you would like to actually join us live and ask a question live, you're welcome to as well. And my wonderful producer tonight, Keisha Clark, she'll guide you in the chat room to do that. So last we were together, we discussed desire without the action? Question mark. Oh my gosh, so many of us get into that space. I don't know about you, but we get into that space of we have this desire and we have these ideas, right? And desires and ideas and ideas and desires. And then the next thing you know is there's no action, right? There's no action at all. And that is really, really difficult. I can tell you that for myself, over the years, especially since starting my own business, is I had so many ideas start to come up and I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that and I wanted to do this. And then I would be frozen. I would nearly be, like just stop dead in my tracks. And now the desire to still move forward was there, but I was stopped. And that's what we talked about on that show. So if that is something that you've experienced, that you find that you are experiencing, go check out inspiredchoicesnetwork.com and my podcast, Inspired Choices. And that show was actually, I believe it was September the 30th. So you can check that out for sure. Now, you can listen to us live. We are live on 54 platforms. No, 55 now, I think. Oh, I can't even keep up. And we are also podcasted on over 50 audio platforms. You can find us on Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. There's so many places that you can catch us. Just go to your favorite podcast location and you can find all of our shows, all of my personal podcast shows, and all of the hosts on the network. That they have all their shows on these platforms as well. And now we are on TV. You can see our show creations in YouTube, in Facebook, in Instagram, in a 10-minute clip in LinkedIn, and on 100 smart TVs. So how many of you out there have an Apple TV or a Fire Stick or any kind of smart TV? What that's going to do is that is going to allow you to go look for Binge Networks, Binge, and we have a channel there, Inspired Choices Network, and you can catch all of our video platforms there. So we are growing, we are having so much fun, and this is why I love to talk about business, because to me, business is pleasure. And when we are having pleasure with our business, we are absolutely operating from that space of desire. And it makes me wonder a great deal of the people that I hear saying that business is not that much fun for them, or they're not finding that they're growing, or they feel like they're dried up with ideas and they don't know what they should be doing or how they should be doing it. And all of the rest of that, whenever they are in that space of really wanting to move forward, but everything is kind of flat, I'm wondering about tonight's show topic. Are you operating in your business by default or by desire? Now, I know it may sound like an odd question, but let me just lean into this for you tonight. So, do you know how you create business? Do you know how you create business? Have you ever actually looked at that? Um, do you know why you create business the way that you do? That's a big question we're going to be leaning into for sure tonight. Is it possible? Well, of course, anything is possible, but is it possible you are operating from default instead of true desire? Now, it doesn't have to be 100% one way or another. Okay, it can be both, and that's what we really want to start looking at. So we are going to look at what does default in business look like, and what does operating from desire in business actually look like. So let's jump right in so we can unpack this and take all of your questions and your comments and see where we can go with tonight's show. So first thing that popped for me today when I started to think about this is what does the word create? What is the definition, the original definition of the word create? And I just love the first explanation. It's to bring into being. To bring into being. How many of you out there have actually had the desire to start a business? You had a great business idea, you had the desire to start a business, and then things started to get really quiet with your creations. Things started to get really, it feels like stuck. And maybe you've been thinking in your mind, like, I'm procrastinating. What is wrong with me? Right? And if that was occurring for you, did you also start to have panic come up in you? Did you start to experience the places and spaces where you just couldn't get moving? You couldn't actually lean into creating something. Well, here's what often happens, and just check in, no right or wrong, just check in and see if this is something that you've experienced. When you got an idea about starting a business and you got all that excitement going up inside of you, you had desires, right? Are those desires as vibrant today as they were the day that you started to think about starting your own business? Just truth. No right or wrong, just truth. If you get a yes or a no or some or not even close to that, Christine, cool, awesome. But that's the space that's going to start to show you where the train went off the tracks, where the joy went out of your business, where the joy went out of creating your business. And this is so very, very important, my friends, because without joy and excitement and desire, who wants to be in business? Nobody wants to be in business. Without joy, excitement, and desire, who's going to be attracted to your business? Who's going to be like, what's going on with her? What's she doing over there? Right? If you are grumbling in your private life, even just in your own mind, right? You're grumbling about business. You don't have enough business. You don't have enough money. This isn't happening. That's not happening. And then you go out and you're communicating with people in person or online or trying to do a social media post. You know what? It's going to be kind of like one of those cakes, right? Where you have to put so much icing on that cake that you hide the truth of a crumbled cake underneath. Has anybody ever done that? I know I've done that. I love baking, but sometimes I just jump in there with the icing too soon and then I ruin the cake. So have you actually jumped into expanding your communication about about your ideas, about your business, and you actually did not have the joy and excitement with your creations, right? This is a really important piece to ask yourself and to understand. And it's not just today, when you find that you are in that space of it's heavy or it's I can't seem to get moving. I remember um, really early in my business that I would be really looking at, okay, everybody keeps talking about creating. I have no idea what the heck, nothing was coming to me. And here's what I was aware of. Here's what I became aware of after about probably 6 months to a year is that I was looking outside of me. I was looking to what other people were doing, and I was listening to what everybody else was saying. I was listening to family members. I was listening to clients. I was listening to, anybody that thought they had an opinion that I should listen to. I was listening to them, and I was really getting worried. And when I would, really explain or express that I was concerned about my business, or when people would ask me, how's your business going? Because they knew I just started a business, it was really, really hard for me to hide the truth of where I was at. Has anybody experienced that? And so what started to occur was they could really, Jen says, nope, she's in the chat room. Nope, never had that. Oh, not at all. I think she's being sarcastic. I love sarcasm. It's so good. But when people would when people would say to me, how's the business going? I couldn't hide that on my face. I couldn't hide it in my voice. I was worried. I was concerned. I didn't know what I was doing. And what was really, really important was I started to judge my business. And the minute that you go into judging your business, judging your revenue, judging the way that you've created something that maybe didn't turn out the way you expected, whenever you are judging any aspect of your creation or your business, any part of this at all, or judging you in the way you operate within that business, or the way you communicate with your customers and clients, the way you do social media, any of that, when you judge any of this, it's like taking a pin and putting it in a balloon, and all of the joy starts to seep out of that balloon. So, how many of you would be willing to keep your balloon of joy and excitement about your business so blown up, so incredibly full that it would help to rise you up above anyone's point of view, even those people that you love? People that you love are well-intentioned people. They really, really are. And they don't want to see you, you know, fail. They don't want to see you in pain. They don't want to see you sad. They care deeply about you, and they want you to care about yourself as well. But here's a big, big lesson, my friends. If you are not willing to fail over and over and over again, you will not get to the top of your desires, to the top of that mountain of your desires. You've got to be willing to fail. And if you've never done this type of business before that you are doing now or desire to do, how in God's name can you possibly be excellent at it until you actually get on that bike or get on that train and go, right? You are going to learn as you grow and go forward. And learning, there's no failing. It's learning and taking a step and taking a step and taking a step. I have fallen down so many times in my business, so many times. But you know the difference between someone who is unsuccessful and someone who is successful is it doesn't matter how many times that you fall down. You just get up again. You may need to lick your wounds. You may need some guidance. You may need some support, but just get up again. That's all that's required. So we're talking a lot about, I know I haven't quite got into the default piece yet, but this was a really important segment for us to lay down the desire piece and for you to get back in touch with your desires with your business. They may have changed, but the original, Jen says, it's the business foreplay. Exactly. What's really important is we've got to get back to those desires, and we've got to start stoking those desires so that they want to come and rise up within you and get that excitement going. So we are going to go to our break, our first break of the show. And when we get back, we're going to dive into the default piece. What the hell is default business? I'm sure you have lots of ideas. We will be talking about many of those ideas and more. Remember, you can join us at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Chat room on the menu. Come on in. You can use your real name or you can use a pseudonym, and we will play with you. You can also join us on the live video recording, and my wonderful producer will give you the link in the chat room. So come on back right after this break. You are listening to Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices radio show here on the Inspired Choices Network. Can't wait to see you after the show, after the break.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Oh, that was fun. I love that music, and I love now that I get to dance during the music while I'm doing chair dancing right now. But it's so much fun. So thank you so much for being with me tonight, and thank you for coming along this ride. It's so much fun. Tonight we are talking about business by default or desire. So if you're just tuning in, please do go back and listen to the first section of this show. It's an important piece that leads us to the default conversation. So what is business by default? Okay. There's so many people out there that whether they are in their own business or not, they are doing their business by default. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. If you have a full-time job where you're employed by someone else, okay, you are still in your own business. And that's something that a lot of people don't really look at. You are in your own business because you are creating and generating revenue. Your choices are creating the revenue that you're receiving. You are in the business of your life. You're in the business of your own creations, even if it's under the umbrella of someone else's, empire. Okay. So every single solitary person that is generating income is in their own business. Now you may be generating products, you may be generating ideas, and you're not taking it out to the market. Well, essentially, if you're not actually earning any income, you're really not in business. Okay. No biggie. You can get there. That's total ease, but just to differentiate between these things. Okay. So how many people had an idea of what they wanted to do when they grew up? They had an idea of what they wanted to do when they grew up. And then when they started to, kind of move into high school or getting near the end of high school, considering going to, post-secondary education, college, university, when they started to discuss or people started to ask them questions about what they were going to do or be, how many people started to take other people's opinions, most especially family, very, very seriously and take them very much into consideration as to what they should do? A lot of people. A lot of people. I know I come from, my father was self-employed. He was in his own business. I had siblings that were self-employed. Their husbands had businesses. My sisters, worked with their husbands in their businesses. I know a lot of people around me in my life that were in their own business, and many of them, especially the men that came from my family, they started to replicate the same type of business that my father was doing. Okay. Now, my father did not do the construction business from default from his father. His father was a farmer. Now, my father and mother, they were farmers for the first 16 years of their marriage. And then there was a recession hit. The dairy industry fell through the floors, and my parents went bankrupt because of the economy. And then they started their own own construction business. It's kind of a cool story. My father went to a neighbor to help him to try to make some money, and they were building a fence on the farm. And the man said to my dad, "Joe, you're really good at doing this. I just read that the government is starting to open up highways going up north in northern Ontario in Canada, and there could be some work there for helping to build fencing and maybe even guide rail." And that's how he started his business. It's kind of a proud moment here, my friends. He actually had enough money in the bank to go and buy a shovel. My mom and dad did not have any money at this point. They were really going hand to mouth on trying to feed this large family. They had 7 children at the time, and they were struggling really, really hard. And the determination of both of them helped him to move forward, and he had a very successful construction business that he then shared with other people, his children, his son-in-laws, and so on. So there was a number of people that came from our family that they started to do this same type of construction. They started to, they took jobs with my father, and then they started to do this type of business. And it really makes me wonder today how many of them really that's what they wanted to do. Did they want to be on the highway under the scorching heat for 14, 16 hours a day, be away from their families for 2 weeks at a time, live in a hotel with a bunch of sweaty other men, and just so they could make a paycheck? I don't know if they really loved doing this work that much. I really, really don't. And, I used to think, it was unfair that I was a girl and I didn't get a chance to actually do this work, and I didn't get a chance to start my own business with the support of my father. And now I'm thinking, how lucky was I? Because have you seen my lily white skin? That would not have gone over well. I'd have been burnt all the time. But that didn't really intrigue me. I love business, but the idea of doing that type of labor did not intrigue me at all. But how many of these men did this business by default? And how many of you out there know of people that went into the family business, right? They went into the family business because They were encouraged to. Their parents said that they would back them if they did this, that it was all set up. It made logical sense, right? They didn't have to spend all this money going to secondary school. They didn't have to go out and learn a new trade because it was right under the umbrella of the family. There's a lot of families that have passed down their businesses to their siblings. And truthfully, I'll bet you 10 to 1 that less than 50% of those people that received that family business enjoyed the creation. They may have enjoyed the fact that they didn't have to create something brand new. They may have enjoyed the fact that, things were already set in place and they could step into that. They maybe enjoyed the money that was already starting to be generated. They didn't have to start from ground zero. But did they actually enjoy their day to day? Did it bring them joy in their body? Did they actually enjoy sharing what they were doing in the world with the excitement and the enthusiasm that their parents did? That's a question you really want to look at. So if you have a business and you're thinking about handing it down to your children, please have this very important conversation with them. You want to ensure that they are as tuned in and turned on with their business as you are with your business. My children have already told me, we are not interested in taking over your business. Okay, thanks for letting me know. I don't expect them to. I really don't expect them to. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't want to, but I really don't expect them to. I want them to do what makes them happy, what lights them up. Because when things get tough and things get hard, if you are operating from default, all right, the very first thing that's going to happen is things are going to fall flat on their face. Because one of the things that really lifts you up and moves you forward and gives you the intrinsic motivation, the internal drive to say yes again to waking up each day and going, yes, I'm going to do it again. Yes, I'm going to do it again. Even though this is tough and even though this is happening, I want this. I desire this. I have a knowing within me that this business desires to be in the world, that it wants to serve other people. If you don't have that going on, when things get tough, it's going to be so easy to walk away. It's going to be so easy to say, no, this never really made me that happy anyways. So most people in the world are not looking at the joy that the business actually gives them, that the business actually generates the joy. Most people are operating from the income, not what is actually created. The true prosperity within your business is the joy that it creates within you. The true prosperity is the joy that it creates within you. And when you are operating from default business, when you are doing what other people say is going to make you money, when you're doing what everyone else says, this makes more logical sense. Why would you do it this way? Look at these people, how they make money. Look at how, Bobby or Billy or, Joan or Susan, look what they're doing. Why don't you do that? We need more nurses. We need more doctors. We need more of this. We need more of that. I've heard this my whole life. Like people will be lost when they are graduating high school or college. And they'll be like, I don't know what I should do. I don't know what I should do. I don't know what I should do. And then they'll go, well, we need tradesmen. We need tradesmen. And that's true. We do need tradesmen because a lot of people have come out of the trades. But don't go into something because we need it. Go into something because you need it to light you up inside. That's living and creating from desire. Don't take a job just because you need the money. Ask your body to guide you. Ask your business to guide you. Ask the universe to have your back and show you what will create both financial prosperity and joy prosperity. Imagine marrying financial prosperity and joy prosperity together. Imagine the success that you will have. And when we get back from this break, we're going to talk about having, really, really having. And I want you to lean into this even more because, my friends, I know that we can have pleasure in business, whether it's your personal business or you're working for someone else. I know we can have it. I know that there's so many opportunities in the world. And when we allow the pleasure within us, the desires within us to be our GPS on this journey, oh my gosh, we can go so incredibly far. So stay tuned. We will be back very shortly. You are listening to Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices radio show here on the Inspired Choices Network. Can't wait to see you soon.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The pleasure of business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure o' Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, or welcome forward. A lot of people are saying welcome forward instead of back. We don't want to go back. No, we want to go forward. Go forward, young man. Go forward. Okay, tonight we are talking about business by default or desire. And while we were on break, I looked up the original definition of default. This is amazing and like, holy macro, no wonder this popped for me. So default means be lacking, be missing, become weak from default. Restricted meaning to fail in fulfilling or satisfying an obligation. Holy moly, right? Wow. How many people are doing default, really doing business by default, and are experiencing failing to fulfill or satisfying, and they're satisfying an obligation. So how many of you right now are satisfying an obligation when you are doing business by default? Are you afraid that the business that you are choosing to create or the way that you're doing business, or the programs, or the services, if you are doing them like other people are doing them and really not doing from the place of desire, is your motivation because you feel obliged, you feel like you are trying to fulfill an obligation to someone else, to impress someone else, even maybe to pay your bills? Do you feel obligated, right? I'm telling you, I was in human resources for, oh, I don't know, 20 plus years before I started my own business. And there's so many people I interviewed, so many people I interviewed. And, it, the, I really didn't like interviewing at first. And then when I started to get into it and really was looking at the person on the other side and really thinking about them and listening to them, there were times when I was interviewing when I would ask them, why do you want this job? And oh my God, it was like listening to a drone, just like, whoa, 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 whoa. There was no excitement. There really wasn't. They tried to, they would put a smile on their face, but I could tell so clearly that this was not something that turned them on and lit them up. And underneath all of that was a lot of fear that they wouldn't get it. And then I would start to ask them things that they did when they were young that made them joyful. I would ask them things that they loved to do and what gave them pleasure. And as they would start to do that, and then I would lead into, what courses they really enjoyed, what classes they really enjoyed, and why they enjoyed those classes. And I would actually sometimes ask them, so if you could do any job in the world, knowing what lit you up as a child and the courses you enjoyed, what would you do? And oh my God, the energy that would start to shift within them, and they would start to tell me really exciting things that they have dreamed about, they've thought about. And before you know it, I would just let them go and go and go. And then I would say, so why are you applying for this job? Because it sounds to me like if you actually went in the direction of that dream of what you talk about, you would be so successful. So many of us. And I'll tell you something before I go on. I had a number of people in the interviews would actually get up and they would hug me and they would thank me for actually bringing them forward to see the truth and discuss it, right? I think that a lot of times I gave them the space and the ease to really share what was happening for them, and they appreciated that. But so many people have these desires within them to do a business. They have these desires of how to step forward and what they really, really want to do. And they may think that it's crazy. I was talking to a host, a new host a couple of weeks ago, and she was really nervous to step forward to discuss the things that she had on her heart and she knew would make a difference in the world. She thought she was going to be judged. And I said, no, girl, like, no, speak what's in your heart. Whether you're speaking to a partner, someone you love, someone you care about, or you're speaking to people about what you know, or speaking about a business or an idea, when you speak from your heart, there will be a different energy, a different joy that will be so attractive. That will be so attractive that you will not be able to not be successful. And this is the part that I started to get in my business, is that when I was really tapping in what turned me on and lit me up, this is where my business started to grow. So if you don't know this already, I am the founder of the Inspired Choices Network. And this idea came to me as I started to step in. I was producing initially, and then the idea of really growing this business and growing it, and it's been growing now. I've been producing since I'm in my 7th year of producing, and the Inspired Choices Network is still quite a young baby. The Inspired Choices Network is just about 4 years old, and I certainly haven't created it solo. I've had some amazing, amazing co-creators, all of the hosts and all of the guests, but most especially all of the wonderful people that are on my team, who have been on my team and continue to be on my team. They are just so amazing, and I just adore them. And they have made my creations come to life with me, which is so much fun to have playmates that love what you do. But I'll tell you, there's been times, and even over the last 2 weeks, we were learning a new system, and we have this new system going, and I'm absolutely loving how we're recording and how much fun and ease we're having. Well, it wasn't so much fun in the beginning, and we were on a really high trajectory of learning, and it was stressful. It was stressful out of the gate, but because we knew where we were going and we were excited about the destination, we continued, because that desire within us to be all that we knew was possible, that's what drove us through the challenges. That's what drove us through the frustrations. And there were moments when I would be frustrated, and then Keisha would support me, or Jen would be frustrated and we would support her. It was all around, and we're a team, right? We worked together, but we always had the vision. We always had that vision out there. We could have easily done things the way that other companies do podcasting. We could have easily done it that way. That would have been, I mean, there would have been less challenges, I think. But along with those less challenges, there would have been less joy in the creation. For me, for sure. There would have been less excitement. There would have been less possibilities. And when these ideas come to me, right, I get excited about them. Now, I don't jump out of the gate like I used to, but I do write it down, and I do keep checking in on it and when to move forward. And now was the time. We've been doing TV now for just over a month, and it's so much fun. And now that we're on this new platform and we're recording differently and we can have guests on video with us, it's the world just opened up for us. But it really has to start with our desires and what's within us. And I can't even imagine, when I look at when I started producing, I never would have imagined that I was here, that I would come to this space. And I don't know what it's going to look 5 years from now or 10 years from now. But what I know today is that this brings me a lot of joy and a lot of excitement. And having that joy come and having that excitement come into your world really, really requires you to go within and to check in and be honest with yourself around what excites you. Now, I did not, when I started to do radio and started to produce radio, I did not have this big vision. I did not have this big desire that I would be on, 200 platforms and doing TV and all of the rest of this. I didn't have that desire, but I had a desire that I wanted to bring my voice to the world. I had that desire, and I started to flame that desire. And as I allowed that desire to continue to grow, new ideas were attracted to me. New ideas were willing to come through me. And as I was willing to continue to receive those desires, this is how this platform has grown. Oh, I'm grateful for you too, Keisha. And I'm grateful I chose it too. This is so much fun. When I look now, it brings tears to my eyes. When I look at everything that I've created and how we are in the world, it well, you can hear and you can see, it just really touches me a lot. I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine what my world would be like. I can't even imagine what my world would be like. And I never would have imagined it would be here. And oh my gosh, we've got a very amazing group of hosts on this platform and guests, and we have got so many fabulous things that are happening, and we've got team members that are joining, and we've got people spreading the word and people that are wanting to step in to create with us. We are having this happening every day, and I am telling you, please listen. It starts with your desire. And it starts with you knowing that if something comes to you, it wants to come through you. If there is a desire that lights you up, if you get an idea and you get so excited about it that you want to scream it from the mountaintops, right? Or you get afraid that people will judge it, look at that, lean into that. Because what if the judgment, take that layer of judgment off and just look at that creation, look at the desire. What if you, being in your joy, being in your desire, being in pleasure with your business, will actually contribute to others and to you? Are you willing to have that much impact? Are you willing for people to say, oh my God, look at what she's done. Oh my gosh, look at how he has contributed to the world. Are you ready to receive? Are you ready to have that much of an impact? Are you willing, my friends? Are you willing to receive even more desires in your world? One of the questions that I've always asked, I'll continue to ask, is like, what else? What else? And I'm saying to the universe every single day, bring it. Bring it. I'm ready. I am ready. Bring it. Show me what else. Show me what else. And the universe is bringing it all the time. I have ideas constantly going. I actually have a whiteboard that I'm writing ideas down on all the time. And sometimes my producers and my team members are like, oh my God, here she goes again. But you know what? If it turns me on and lights me up, that's the messaging to me that it's desired in the world. That's the messaging to me. And that's why following my desires, not by default, not just doing what needs to be done to pay a bill. And you can have a job that brings income in to feed your families while you're flaming all of your desires. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. I have done that throughout my entire career for sure. But don't leave your desires in the dust. Please keep flaming them. All right, we're up to our final break of the show. Oh my God, this went fast. You are listening to Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices radio show here on Inspired Choices Network. Stay tuned, my friends. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, I am Christine McIver, and tonight we're talking about business by default or desire. So we've been really heavily packed into tonight's show. And the aspect of having is something that I want to touch on. Now, um, we have a number of shows that are lined up, and please do check out my page here on the Inspired Choices Network. You'll see all the shows that are coming up. Next week, our show is we're talking about not using competition as a driving force. And a lot of people do that. And this is something that I think is so important that we lean into looking at if that is something that's triggering for you. There are also over 275 shows in the podcast replay that you can check out. As I said before, you can find us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts. You can find us across most podcast platforms. You can also check us out in YouTube, Facebook, Inspired Choices Network page, where we've got everything going on across the platform, and now in TV as well. So just Google it, you will find us, and you can check us out there and listen. And if you're someone that has a message that you desire to bring to the world, of something that you know will contribute to other people, I'd love to talk with you. We have opportunities for new hosts here on the platform, and we have some fabulous opportunities to do both audio and video as well, and to have an amazing team supporting you. So you can email me, Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. And as well, if you're someone that is looking for a business coach, someone that can help you do strategic planning, someone that can help to guide you and hold you accountable and really see the amazingness that you have, see the possibilities in your business, and help to drive you forward, contact me. I would love to share with you an opportunity that I have with a strategic business package. And let's just have a conversation. 30 minutes. There's no obligation. Let's see if there's a match there. Okay. So before we sign off tonight, we've just got a couple of minutes left. I want to lean in a little bit more to having. Tell me something. How much do you celebrate in your business? How much do you celebrate in your business? Do you celebrate the little steps? Do you celebrate your accomplishments? Or like the silly me that I was in the past, are you always looking to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, and skipping the celebration? Well, I'll tell you something, my friends. Each and every time you skip the celebration, you are not allowing your body to know what it feels like to be in joy so that it can bring more of that to you. You're not showing the universe that you desire more of that joy. And you are also cutting off receiving all new things that are possible. Celebrating what you have and what you've created each and every day, even if it's just a fabulous conversation, celebrating those things will actually show the universe and show your body what's important to you. Like today, I put a picture up on social media of me holding my phone, and you can see my phone cover has the Inspired Choices Network label on there. I also have t-shirts with Inspired Choices Network on it, and I have a brand new mug, and I'm sorry I don't have it here to show you tonight, but this is what I've been celebrating. I've been celebrating my company merchandise. I've been celebrating the creations that we are doing and celebrating bringing new hosts on. We have another new host that's coming on. It's actually two women that are going to be doing their show together. I'm so excited. And we have some amazing guests that are coming forward that I can't talk about yet. But I'm telling you, it's over the moon. And okay, I'll tell you. You won't tell anybody, right? Do you know the world famous singer Macy Gray? Do you know Macy Gray? Well, she is going to be on our network. She is going to be on our network on one of our hosts' shows. Bill Myers Inspires, and he's certainly inspiring me. I'm so over the moon excited. I can't even imagine in the past having someone of her caliber. It's absolutely fantastic. So thank you everyone for being here tonight. Thank you so much for contributing, for joining in the chat room, for joining in our live video recording. It has been fabulous. I would love to see you here again next week. Remember, my friends, no matter what happens and is going on in your life, please allow the desire to lead you. And remember, you can always make another choice. Bye for now.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire. Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.